Welcome to another edition of the Daily Knight. I'm your host, Brian Smith, and joined again by Andrew Johnson, contributor to my show here today. And quite frankly, I don't know how long ago it was you started writing articles at Inside the Knights, but it's been a minute. And thank you for coming on the show again today, Andrew. How's everything going over there in Polk County?
Yeah, I'm doing really well, man. It was a wild weekend of football, so I'm excited to be
Oh,
on today.
you know what? Football's great in so many different levels, and I'm not an NFL guy in general. It's not the same to me as college. But this weekend on Sunday, I mean, y'all got your money's worth in a lot of ways. Just want to make a quick comment, even though that's not what the show is about. Even great coaches make mistakes. You do not run cover zero with the other team not having timeouts in 40 seconds to go. You just don't do that. Tampa failed right there. But anyway, today's show is primarily an all-encompassing example of how one player can change the perception of a program. When you said NFL records, we got to talk about it.
Yep.
And Gabriel Davis went off in the NFL game yesterday. Although Bills Mafia fans are heartbroken, I was rooting for the Bills just for, somebody different. But
exactly
4 touchdowns in a game, whether it's a combination, kickoffs, or whatever, is incredible. But 4 in one category, meaning just in this case receiving, he's the first player in NFL playoff history to have the opportunity to do that and I'll put it up on the screen in a second to show some of the names. I mean, the tweets and stuff, I put it into an article. I'm just blown away because I'd hinted in an article a week or so ago, hey, he's kind of on the verge. He's doing something, but nobody saw.
Man, and just to make a quick note really quick, because people see the touchdowns, but he made a lot of big catches on 3rd and 4th down to continue the drive. So he had a really good, solid game, even with the NFL, touchdown record. So kudos to him and to Bills Mafia because they landed a great receiver late in the draft.
Yeah, he averaged for the season, when you combine the regular and the postseason, 45 catches for 700 and some yards, 9 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, he's in that game. Oh, dude, his stealing. We'll get to that in a second. His stealing is incredible for the game. 8 catches, 201 yards. Look, that's balling. That's 25 yards per pop. I mean, now I know people say, oh, well, the Chiefs were missing defensive backs. Well, the Buccaneers were missing defensive backs since game 1. So they got hammered, and they still made it pretty far. You're going to lose guys in the game of football. The Chiefs did not adapt well, and what I saw from them, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl if a certain guy doesn't come back.
That secondary like that, they wasn't getting it.
They'd been playing really good. So for Davis to expose them, he just abused them.
That's a good word. It definitely exposed that secondary.
I mean, he got open out to the perimeter, over the middle, hesitation routes, anything that he wanted to do, he just dialed it up, and they were in trouble. For those of you who don't know, Davis, not like a lot of guys that ended up going to UCF before heading to the NFL, he wasn't a quote-unquote prime-time recruit. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if was he a walk-on? He was either really low or
he must have been a low recruited guy. I don't know if he walked on, but he had to be a low recruited guy.
Yeah, and I mean, before he left UCF, he was nationally known. He had earned the respect. He had over 1,000-yard season his last year for the Knights. But, nobody knew for sure if he'd make it in the NFL, et cetera. And it helps having Josh Allen. But all of a sudden, nobody can guard him. In the last 4 or 5 games, the light has come on. Right. And now he's their dude. Yeah. So were you surprised how much he was just open in this game? Because
I really wasn't surprised because if you watch some of the games that they had, he always seems to leak out and get those touchdowns. So I was just waiting for him and Josh Allen to click, and they did last night, and that's what they needed. And I didn't know he was going to get 4 touchdowns, but I know he was progressing, and he's a guy that can leak out and then back in and score those touchdowns. So I knew he could, put up some. I didn't know he was going to score 4 touchdowns. That's all I can say. I don't think any of us could have predicted that.
No. Well, and to that point, I'm just going to share the screen now. Let's
see some of those names. Oh,
this here is an incredible pay. I don't know who did this, but this is the players, and at the top is Gabriel. that have scored 3 touchdowns in a playoff game. So I'm just, for those of you that are just trying to listen or whatever, Travis Kelce did it last year. Randall Cobb did it a few years ago. Rob Gronkowski's done it multiple times. Sidney Rice was a big-time player for Minnesota. Larry Fitzgerald, future Hall of Famer. Jerry Rice did it 3 times.
Look at Jerry.
Now, I mean, Jerry was balling. But again, it's Jerry Rice, and he didn't do it 4 times. If you surpass something that Jerry Rice did, I mean,
you need that recognition.
Yeah, like, that's incredible. Jerry got, I believe, 4 Super Bowls. That's pretty impressive.
No, like we said, that's a generational talent right there.
Yeah, and Fred Biletnikoff, I mean, a Hall of Famer. There's all kinds of guys on this list. I go, oh wow.
To be mentioned in the likes of these guys is just an incredible.
Oh yeah, Sterling Sharp, Andre Reed, Willie Jackson, Amani Toomer. These are guys that are all first-round picks. A lot of them Hall of Famers.
Right.
It's just like, holy cow.
Yeah.
And he did it in year 2 as a guy that had been coming off the bench at some point, depending on what packages they run. I'll bet you money Gabe Davis is not coming off the bench next year. I will wager anybody out there that wants to be stupid enough to give me their money. Because
just to go back to what I was saying, I thought Diggs would be the guy, but nah, it was Davis. He came out of nowhere and was the star of the night.
Diggs is a hell of a player, but
talented,
sometimes it's the other guy's night, and as you mentioned accurately earlier, it helps having Josh Allen, and they finally got that connection.
Yeah,
and they smoked him. Now, with all of this aside, here's the thing that we're going to lead into. I was at Battle Miami this past weekend. Top recruits from around the country: Texas, Utah, California, Detroit, the DMV, Virginia Beach, all over the place came down. Atlanta came down, and of course, all the 7-on-7s in the state of Florida were pretty much in one spot. It was crazy. Those kind of kids are going to see that.
Yeah.
We are in a media-centric society. If something happens on NBC or what, it could be any channel. If they don't see it live, they're going to see it on Twitter. I was just watching bits and pieces through mobile because I was on the road. I didn't have a chance to do anything. I was driving back from Miami. It's not a short drive. It's not fun.
It's brutal.
But it's, it is what it is. Alligators and mosquitoes all the way back. But the point is still the same. I'm seeing I saw he had 2 touchdowns early. Oh, he's had a pretty good game. I checked back like an hour later, and he had just punched it in for his 4th. And I'm like, this is going to go ballistic on Twitter, Instagram,
we said,
TikTok.
The entire country is watching these playoff games. That's like we said. So
people are going to take pictures of this and put it as their screensaver on their Samsung Galaxy or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just what people are going to do.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, well, I wonder where he played at.
Right.
It shouldn't matter, but it does.
Yeah.
And he played at UCF. To that end, this next weekend, the Knights will be having a big event anyway. They've got a bunch, the hometown stay home order, whatever you want to call it.
Hometown.
For
native guy, for local guys. But go ahead,
They have all these guys coming in. And the tournament this next weekend that's big nationally is Pylon. That's another company that runs 7-on-7. And it's in Kissimmee. I already know flat out one of the elite programs, Immortals, is going to be going up to UCF. The coach is going to drive a bunch of recruits up. I was on the field standing next to those guys. There's a half dozen guys for the Immortals that could play for UCF. After I'm talking about receivers. How convenient. How convenient. Like, it's all the Miami public school kids plus Jaylen Brown, who's probably the fastest kid in the country that's over 6 foot, and he's at Miami Gulliver Prep, and every school in the country's offered him. They're all going to be on campus next weekend.
Right.
This is why I always talk about in my articles at Inside the Knights. They're very, very intelligent about when they plan stuff, why they do it. Is it coincidence they're having this weekend with Pylon right there? Are you kidding me? They're not dumb. They're not dumb. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah. I think you made a great point when you said those kids, when they see Davis have performances like that, they aspire to be like that. So the next receivers that's coming in, even the Quan Lees that's coming in, they see these guys and they're like, hell yeah, I can be that next guy coming out of UCF and making plays like that in the league. So it was an awesome time for this event to be this weekend.
They hit it. I mean, and Gabriel, they don't have any control over that. So that's the extra.
Nah,
you know what I mean? Hey, sometimes you just got to capitalize, brother.
Right. That's how.
So
just really quick, like we were talking about, just the transition to some of the receivers that UCF's produced in the league.
Oh, it's incredible.
So we talked about Gabe Davis, of course, record-setting night. They had a guy, Traquan Smith, who plays for the Saints. Of course, they got Brandon Marshall, great retired receiver. And they got Rashad Perriman, plays for the Bucks, played in the divisional this weekend. And, of course, they got Marlon Williams and Trey Nixon, two guys that walked on. I think Trey Nixon walked on for the Patriots, and I think Marlon walked on for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But still, they're creating that line of receivers. You got
it's crazy.
Jalen, Ryan O'Keefe, Kobe Hudson coming in. So when this is a perfect weekend for UCF. They needed it for this for guys and recruits to see that so they can aspire to be like those guys. Perfect point that you made.
How would you not be excited about that?
No, of course.
You know, it's I just
and man, it can be bigger than that. It's bigger even than the receivers. I'm looking at the list right here. I've seen Eric DeSalvo put some guys up. UCF has a lot of guys in the NFL, so if they can create these ties, even with the alumni, they can, with the momentum that Gus Malzahn has in the transfer portal, 2022 season is looking bright.
It's nice to have a little momentum like this.
Yeah.
They've got one commitment from a very good player, Caven Call out of Apopka High School for the class of 23. And this is their first, big weekend for 2023. Then, ironically, a few days later, the end of the 22 class basically happens this next Wednesday. But I'm excited to see which kids, A, show up, which, you got to get them on campus to be in the game. But B, which ones really tweet about it, what they say. And I'll interview some of them at tournaments and all that. But until you do that, you don't really know who's going to come and who isn't. Everybody and their brother visited Miami this past weekend.
Man, University of Miami. That was a big event.
They had guys come multiple.
That was a big event, man.
That's important for a program. If you've got a tournament, you've got to capitalize. There was a couple kids that went multiple times.
Yeah. And you made a note. How important is social media when it comes to
Oh, it's everything. UCF social media, by the way, crazy. They're fantastic.
Man, just talk about how important social when these kids see that and tweet about it and they direct their messaging at each other. You see what's going on at UCF? That's what happened behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Talk
these
about that.
These kids do that a lot. A lot of times they'll send me stuff. They'll take a picture or they'll just copy it, whatever. And send it on, and it'll be something that I haven't seen yet. And they'll be like, see what I did or whatever. Here's my tweet. And if they're doing that to the guy that covers them, what do you think they're doing amongst themselves? Because they hang out and play video games. They go to school with each other. So if you go to an event, UCF or otherwise, here's your chance, albeit by accident. You're broadcasting what you're doing, but you're helping UCF. Yeah. And, of course, Davis gave them more attention anyway. They'll have more guys visit this weekend because of Davis. Flat out.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And, some of the guys that you mentioned also help lay that foundation.
If Gus can get some of those guys on campus, I think he can. I think he got the ties.
Oh, I do too.
Especially with the momentum. They want to come to Orlando. Why wouldn't
this hometown event, whatever you want to call it. I mean, they got one kid from Georgia that I know is coming forward, a linebacker from Savannah, but it's mostly Florida kids.
Yeah. I see
this is pretty dope.
Top receivers, I think a 5-star too. It's the social media, man. Like even after that Miami thing, I think that played a big part as well. A lot of people went down there.
Well,
hype.
It's fun that guys are here's an example. Idris King is a player that's interested in coming. He plays at Kathleen over in your area. He's a kid I don't know much about, but he's an athlete that's 6'2", 210. That sounds a lot like Gabriel Davis. Do you think he would relate to that? And I don't know if they'll offer him or whatever, but that's just the example. There's a million ways you can utilize this and capitalize because he attended the University of Central Florida. Yeah. I expect Gus and his staff, which have done a tremendous job to this point, to do just that.
Yeah, he'll continue
capitalize.
That he has that CEO mindset. So.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
Now the question becomes: not only are you going to do that, But what do you do once you get a couple commits? You build off that. There's no end. You can't say we're satisfied and we're going to level off. That's when teams fail.
That momentum.
And Gus is motor. Oh, yeah. Once you get, a quarterback commits or top corner, whatever, you have to build off that and say to the next kid, hey, we just got this kid over here to commit. You're the next piece to build our program.
Right.
And they've done it so far. There's no reason to believe they won't. But I'm excited because Davis is the kind of player that, in my opinion, and I just noticed from watching him play towards the end of the year, and I like Josh Allen anyway, he's got a chance to be on the face of some pictures that go out on magazines, to be on Times Square, play at the Pro Bowl.
Talk about his ceiling. How high is his ceiling?
Well, I mean, not many guys that are 210. I think he's right around that area. Run like he does in and out of breaks.
His routes were crazy. That's what.
Oh, he's a technician,
man.
He's a technician.
Yeah, there you go.
When he sticks his foot in the ground, it's decisive and productive. He's not as fast as, say, Will Fuller, but at the same time, his route running, like Will Fuller will fly. But he still gets to where he needs to at 210. Will's not a big guy. And you take that much size, he can shield off guys, etc. They are going to, I would not want to play Buffalo next year because they're going to add more talent around it. Who does not going to want to play in that offense?
They got a tough, they always had a tough defense. So, yeah. But, man, I just want, for the people that's watching, I just think UCF's success in the NFL can, really affect high school recruiting and transfer portal results. And Gabe Davis' performance was just at the perfect time.
Absolutely. Literally the week that you need to, right before the next weekend of recruits, and just over a week away from signing day for 22 recruits. You're trying to finalize on transfers. Wow. It's a message from God, it's crazy.
Like everything is going right for UCF this offseason. They got their guys back. They're getting recruits. They're pulling Auburn's guys in.
After all the injury crap they went through, they were due about a half dozen, really, aces in the hole.
Somebody lifted the curse. That's what it was.
I'll still never forget Gus looking right at me and said, "We lost 27 guys since the beginning of the season," and I'm like, "Oh."
He was one of them.
Well, he was 28, actually. I still remember looking down from the booth and seeing Gus on that stupid-looking platform.
I don't think I've ever seen a coach on a coaching platform.
I've never even heard of that before, but that's beside the point. It's pretty crazy.
Scooter as well. That's crazy. That was a crazy season, man.
One of the kids that UCF is really after, along with many people in the free world for the class of 23, is Darren Goldie Lawrence from Seminole High School in Sanford. He's been rumored for a while to go. He decommitted from Florida. I communicated with Goldie last week. I'm not going to go into the full details of it. It's a private conversation, but I don't think he's going to end up at Florida. And maybe he ends up at UCF. I didn't ask him anything specific this weekend. He was down in Miami with Certified Dogs, a program I know very well. But it was interesting to see him and just how comfortable he was and everything. He's, I think, in a pretty good place. He's in a happy spot. It would not shock me if he committed sometime soon. He just seems like a guy that's relaxed with no pressures. Either he's not thinking about recruiting at all, or he's already made his mind up.
He was actually one of those guys that quote tweeted the game, his performance, and said, "You looking like me out there." So I'm telling you,
well, they're a similar body type, and they played at the same high school.
Man, those kids see that, they're like, that could be the next me. I could be the next UCF guy to turn up the school and go to the league.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't have to look it up, but I think Gabe played at Seminole. I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, I think he's from Sanford.
Yeah, Sanford is the name of the town.
Yeah, native kid. So I think that's the high school. Yeah.
Yeah,
so those guys see that, man. They love that shit.
I'm sure Goldie's eating that up, and I'm sure UCF will be sending him a piece of mail today.
Hell yeah, they better.
Let me look up old Goldie here, see what he has on the tweet. He's a fun kid anyway. But I don't think that any receiver that they recruit is going to be all that disappointed with that. I've never even heard of that.
Nah.
So I'm hoping that okay, here's Twitter. I'm hoping that they can capitalize this weekend, but I'm greedy. Maybe that's against what I should be thinking, but I'm an impatient guy.
Yeah.
So he retweeted my story. Thank you for that. But I'm looking at the list here. Hometown hero event. He's got it up, and there it is. You look like me out there. Gabe Davis, 4 touchdowns.
There he is.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'll share this. This is a pretty cool picture. I'm gonna put this on the screen. This is a pretty cool picture. I'll give Goldie some credit.
Here we go.
That's pretty dope right there.
Look at that there.
That is, I don't know. That's
who
pretty dope
for him, but hey, it was that quick though. They see that shit, they're like, that man, that can be me. I can be the next hometown hero.
That's pretty dope right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they did a nice job. So I'll give UCF credit on that.
There we go.
If you can do things like that, turn around to your advantage in less than 24 hours.
That quick.
I haven't
seen much of his tape, but I need to go check him out.
Oh no, he's all that.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do my.
He's got NFL aspirations. I mean, it's plausible.
Same body type as Gabe.
He's 6'1", 195, 200 right now, and he's got a year of high school left.
That sounds like to me on his head.
Yeah. He's very good at the go ball. He's a controlled receiver, but if you bump him, he will push you down. He manhandles corners with his strength. So he squats like 500 pounds. He's a strong guy. So
he's just one of many guys that I've seen shout out to that performance. So they're loving it. So it was like perfect time for Gus Malzahn and UCF, what they got going on right now, honestly.
I think that he's a guy that could start the class off, but you know, on the offensive side, they already got Caven on the defensive side, ironically from a rival program. But before we get out of here, just kind of want to mention this. I don't know exactly what the date is for spring ball. I don't know if Gus has announced it, but it's really not that far off because we're in the South and it gets warm early. You start spring ball earlier. Right. Could be late February, first week of March. So this time for them to get ready physically is important.
I think they might have announced it.
If they did, I've been busy the last few days.
Yeah, you've been ripping and running. We'll talk. That'll be another episode.
But the time frame, it moves quick, man. And you only get 15 practices, one of which is like your spring game, and I'm sure it'll be open to the public and all that stuff.
That's coming.
Yeah, I mean you get a very, very small window off. It's media or player or coach.
I'm definitely starting to notice that. It's all around. It's all year round.
Yeah, football does not stop in the state of Florida, brother. You get Christmas Day off, and then you're back to work.
Yeah, I'm definitely noticing
it. So celebrate Jesus' birthday, then we roll it.
Right back to it.
We roll it. So, well, for Andrew, this is Brian. Thank you for watching. We've got some other stuff coming up this week, but I wanted to interject this. This is the only time that's ever happened.
You had to put this out. 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, he gets 4 touchdowns.
Who doesn't want to talk about this? Come on now.
Yeah, it's just dope. So, hats off to Gabriel Davis. Congratulations, and to his agent. Please take me out to dinner because you're doing well too.
You know, he just made some money. He just made some money.
Man, he's killing it right now. He's killing it.
Shout out to that brother.
So, all right, everybody, have a great day. Thank you very much, and go Knights. I'll see you soon.